You know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up. Joel's back.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Right here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
What is up, everybody? Welcome in. This is Fan Friday, only on A2D Radio. We are brought to you by eXp Realty. And you're looking to buy or sell a home, looking for a change in career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy of eXp Realty at 302-682-8820 or visit him right down there. You can find his email too. So go check him out. Brand new sponsor to A2D. Alan's the best. But what's up, family? Tom, Jake, Pete, and look at John. Welcome in, Johnny. Joining us on Fan Friday. He'll be with us here throughout the coming weeks. So get used to him. Get used to all of us. We're going to get used to you guys, and I'm sure the Eagles negativity at the end of the show or whatever other negativity. There's some Sixers negativity too that we're going to get into. We'll get into Eagles talk at the end of the show. We're going to save the Eagles talk. All right, we can save it. We're going to talk about the same names at 12, and we're going to yell and scream, and guess what's going to happen? They're not going to draft the guy we talk about because this happens every year. We say a million names, and they draft the guy that we don't talk about. So guess what? We'll save it. Phillies season opener, Braves series. We're going to talk about that as well. And can the Phillies win 2 or 3? I don't think anybody's expecting a sweep. I think that's sort of unfair to put on them, especially when you're talking about the team that's literally the favorite to win the division, and they're even better. So can they win 2 or 3? Could that be a great sign moving forward in this season? A sweep would be phenomenal. I mean, we'd love that. That would really set a damn tone. But I think I speak for everybody. 2 or 3 is a win to me. 2 or 3 is a win. So we'll discuss Phillies and our excitement level there. Sixers road trip recap: 4-2 and 6-2 without Joel Embiid. All right, and that's important. That's big. Or is it 8-2? I think it's 6-2, right?
I think it's 7-3.
7-3, 6-3.
Yeah.
They've all
7-3, 8-3, depending on if you count the game he got hurt in.
Yeah, depends on what you count. All right, we'll say 7-3 then without Embiid. 6-2, 7-3. It's all the same because you take care of business, right? You take care of business without him. And to go 4-2 on that road trip is phenomenal without your star, especially when the other guy has problems playing in altitude, has problems playing with gray skies, has problems playing, if the wind's blowing too hard. I mean, so listen, that's a phenomenal job. We'll talk about him too. We'll talk about the lack of growing your offensive game. The lack of it. I don't want to hear anything. People are going to come to me tonight and they're going to tell me some crazy analytical nonsense that's really irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Like, I'm tired of guess what? If you look at his defensive presence on these series and this series and that, I'm done with it, okay? I know he can play defense. I need an evolution of an offensive game, and I'm tired of excuses. I'm tired of it. You come into pressure. The first thing out of your word is never altitude. The first thing out of your word is, I got to be better, right? And then you can blame the altitude later on. All right? I'm tired of freaking excuses from the 2021 athlete. If that's the case, nobody would ever beat Denver. They'd be undefeated for the history of Denver Nuggets. The history of Nuggets, 41-0 every year. Nobody beats them at home. Come on. Everybody's got to go there and play there. My goodness gracious. That never affects a 12-foot elbow goddamn jumper, and it's never going to affect when you're 6'11" and you're the biggest guy on the damn court at points, 2 rebounds. Was that altitude? Grow up, Peter Pan. All right? I'm smarter than that, too. And everybody thinks, oh, this guy's an idiot because he doesn't think altitude's real. No, I never said that. I know altitude's real. I don't need to hear it out of your mouth, okay? All right? I don't need your confirmation on altitude. Play better offensively. Have a goddamn pulse offensively. Joel Embiid returns 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Timberwolves. And our poll question, sorry for the low rant. Ben gets me upset. Our poll question brought to you by Body Check Wellness. Use promo code A2D for 20% off. And our poll tonight, when Joel Embiid returns and dominates the rest of the season, he will win MVP. Agree or disagree? Listen, it's all based off of him obviously being healthy the rest of the year. But I believe he's going to come back. I believe he's going to dominate. I don't think he's going to miss a beat. And this team's going to even play better basketball. And they're either going to be the 1 or 2 seed in the East. Simple as that. And other guys being out has helped his cause. Because I think if he comes back and dominates for 23, 24 games, whatever's left, right? And he dominates, okay, he's going to stamp it. He's going to stamp it. Because other guys have missed time. Besides Joker, whose numbers are great, but besides Joker, everybody else just feel like he missed time that really deserves to be in the MVP conversation. All right, or has been load managed or etc. Right? So everybody sort of has. So I still think if he comes back and is dropping 28, 30 a night and is right back to being the Joel Embiid that we saw before pre-injury, right? There's no question I think he wins it, especially if this team plays great basketball, right? And they were playing the level of basketball when he was in. I think we could all agree there. So it all depends. Like if he misses more games, like a significant amount of games, no. But if he comes back and maybe he just misses like 1 or 2 more throughout the rest of this stretch, okay, but he's dropping 30 a night, I don't know how he doesn't win it. If we're winning too, right? I mean, that all depends if we're winning. If he comes back and we're not winning, he's dropping 30, then no. But if we go on a roll, we go on a big time roll, which I think we have the ability to go on that roll with him. So I'm excited to get him back. I think we all are, because I'm tired of watching baby elbow jumpers and baby hooks that nenever go in. The same post move over and over and over again. I need my big guy. I need the reason I sat through 8 wins. I need him back ASAP, okay? Because part of it is like, we sat through 8 wins for Ben and Joe. Yes, and I agree there. And Ben's better with Joe there. Simple as that. Simple as that. He needs Joel, and that's fine. That's fine, okay? He needs Joel to take pressure off him because he's not a guy, and we're seeing it more and more, that can attempt 14 shots and be efficient, even down in the post. All right, he just can't be enough, consistent. He just can't be. So we need our big dog back. We need our big dog back eating. We need the offense to go through the big man, and let's go win a goddamn championship. Or let me slow down. Let's go get to an Eastern Conference final. Let's go get to Eastern Conference. Pump your brakes, Tom. Eastern Conference final or bust. That's where we're at. I'm excited. Let's go fight a lion and a bear and a tiger, and fuck the net. Fuck them. All right, boys, what do you guys say? When Joel Embiid returns and dominates the rest of the season, he will be the MVP. Agree or disagree? And we'll get to all the comments, questions, excitement. Because you should be excited. You should have a little bit of a chubby right now, like a semi-chub. You should be at least like maybe not 6 to midnight, but you should be walking and hanging a little bit longer right now. All right, everybody should. And if you watch Seinfeld enough, you shouldn't be a cold shower George. You're not a cold shower George right now. If you've ever seen Seinfeld, so that's all I got.
There's
Jake, go ahead. We'll circle the room. We'll go Jake, Johnny, and Pete. So swinging around, boys. Probably not the right time to say swinging around, but
college try.
Right. But I'm gonna disagree with the poll. Now, will Embiid play like an MVP? Sure, but I know how the higher ups and the voters are all like, oh well, he's missed this many games and so on and so forth. I think I think Jokic is leading the voting right now, or is it Giannis?
Jokic.
It's Jokic right now? Okay. Yeah, because I think originally before both of their injuries, I think it was Embiid, then LeBron, and now it's Jokic. So I don't think he'll win MVP. I mean, he can dominate all he wants to, and I hope he does, and I expect him to more than anything. And I have us winning games with him returning, obviously. But I just know how the committee is. I know how they are. They're just nerds that sit in their little corners with their calculators and crunching numbers together. Be like, oh, well, he didn't he missed this many games, so his average has actually gone down from this. Unless he played this many games, he would have had this kind of average. But no, I don't expect him to win the MVP. I expect him to play at an MVP caliber level, but not win the MVP.
Fair. Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to take a similar approach to Jake on the poll. I'm going to have to unfortunately disagree, even though I think that Joel will even maybe deserve the MVP after this season. The thing is, like, kind of like what you mentioned, Jake, the voters, we've seen this in the past. When people miss games, and Joel's going to be missed, he's going to have missed now 14 games this season in a 72-game season. I think it's just going to be too much for the voters to give him votes. Like, even maybe if it was LeBron missing this time, they would vote for LeBron because it's LeBron. But the Sixers, I don't know if people notice this. The Sixers aren't really the most popular team in the NBA, even though it's a big market. A lot of people don't like us. It's just what it is. But yeah, I mean, Joel probably will deserve the MVP, but I don't see him winning it because of the missed time. And even in 2017-18, actually, should I say 2017-18? 2018-19, that's what I meant to say, 2018-19. He averaged 28, 12, 2 blocks, and 3.5 assists, and he didn't get first-team All-NBA. Jokic got it, even though he had way worse stats, worse record, because of games played. So that's just how it is.
It's true. I mean, listen, 14 games is not a few games, right? It's not. It's not. So you have to come back and drop 30 plus a night to make up for it, right? Like if you're coming back and dropping 22 a night, no, he's not going to win it. He's just not going to. You have to almost overwhelm them, right? And overwhelms like you come back and be the same guy you are when you were out, right? And then people remember, what have you done for me lately, per se, right? And I think people can overlook the 14 games if you come back and you're dropping 30, 40 and have those type of nights. Then people can overlook it. But if you're not, right? If you're not, then no, he has no shot of winning. That's his only shot of winning it, per se, right? I mean, he's got to be flat out dominant when he comes back, just like he was before he went out. And yes, JJ, he is back tomorrow night, Joel Embiid. And our poll is, I'll bring it right up. Somebody just asked. And go ahead, Pete.
I'm gonna have to disagree with the poll as well. As much as that hurts me, but like, yeah, he missed too much time. Like, as much as it sucks and as awesome as it would have been to see him win the MVP, I just don't really like the chances of it. I just don't see it. Like, I like what Johnny was saying, to where they just don't like us, as opposed to like a team like the Lakers. We just don't have that. We don't have the media power that like a team like the Lakers would have. But I think Embiid he is our MVP. Like, it doesn't take a genius to look at Joel Embiid and be like, we are a better basketball team with Embiid. Like, obviously we went 7-3 without him, which is damn well impressive. But we're just a better functioning basketball team with him. Like, for him to maybe. Is it possible that he could win MVP? Yeah. If we're over the next 15 games, he's dropping like 35, 15, 2.5 blocks, stuff like that, to make everyone remember just how dominant this guy is. That is a big possibility to put him back in the minds of the voters. But where it stands right now, I don't like the likelihood of it happening. And unless he starts putting up like Wilt numbers over the next 2 weeks, I just don't see it happening.
Well, I don't think he needs to put out Wilt numbers. I mean, calm down. We're not dropping 100. But I hear you. What I'll say to you, though, is, Harden's missing games right now. So, I mean, he's going to be missing some games. Everybody's missed some games pretty much besides Joker and Giannis, okay? And Giannis could win it because they love giving it to him, right? He could. That's why Joel's got to come back and, like, overwhelm. But I don't think it hurts him. I know somebody said, like, it hurts him that we played well without him. No, because actually, we played well without him, but we were first in the East when he left, and we're not right now. So as good as we played without him, I know it's a half a game, but in reality, we dropped the seed, which isn't a big deal. I'm just making a point. Like, I know we could have went instead of 7-3. You could have been talking about an 8-2, right? Even a 9-1. You don't know. You don't know with him in the lineup. So that's how important he is. So I think he's going to win it, guys. Because I think he's had a chip on his shoulder all year, and I don't think he's going to miss a beat. At least I hope he doesn't. I don't want him to miss a beat. And if he comes back not missing a beat, and we take over first again, that's going to be the big thing in terms of him winning MVP, is us being first in the East, right? That's like a big part of it. Not only his numbers, but us winning games. Because Denver's not going to be first in the West. right? So at least unless they go on an absolute tear. I got to go look at the standings in the West, but I don't think they're winning the West. All right. So, when you look there, and if we beat the Nets in the East, that should overtake whatever conversation Harden's a part of, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, hold on, you got a super team, baby, and we're first in the East. So there are little things that I think he can win it, but again, he's got to come back, and he's got to be 30 plus a night or 28 plus a night, and 12 plus rebounds a night, and do what he's done all year defensively. And I actually think for these games he missed help him and help our basketball team, because it is like a rest period too. And you know what I mean? It is a rest period, and there's plenty of games to get yourself ready for the postseason. So he comes back tomorrow night, guys. And one, I want to ask you guys, and we'll circle on, how you felt about this team without him. Let's save that one. Ben Simmons' offensive game frustrates you. Agree or disagree? Okay. Ben Simmons' offensive game, I do not want to hear in this conversation anybody bring up defense. If somebody brings up defense, I might mute them from the chat. We all know he plays good defense. His offensive game frustrates you. Agree or disagree? So we'll go with Pete first, and we'll circle around. All right, because go ahead. This is Daddy. Daddy's home. Daddy's here to protect.
See, God damn it. See, how am I going to phrase this? Does his God damn it. All right, so does his offensive game frustrate me to a degree? Yes. Are there times where I watch him and I literally want to bash my head against the wall? 1,000,000,000%. Like the last 3 games I've watched him, I was just like, dude, what are you doing? You're making me look bad. Like, wait, come on. Because I'm like his biggest defender. You're making me look like a goddamn bitch. It's killing me. Like, I feel he's taken some good strides this year with his three throws, with the fact he's actually attempted some real 3-pointers, with the baby hook. Obviously, we can make fun of that all day long. Like, I need more from him. Like Tom always says, you got to give me at least 15. And I 100% agree with that. Like, Ben drives me crazy. Like, but I love him. Like obviously everyone wants to bring up the word we're not allowed to talk about. Like, obviously. But, I do need more from him. But I will say is that one of the issues of the last few games is the big guy's not there. Joel is not there. Like, I think playing next to Joel helps him at times to unleash a little bit. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying playing next to an MVP, it ups your game from time to time. And it allows for the game to either slow down for you or for you to be able to find guys and get them more open for shots.
Well,
so, I mean, obviously. So, yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay. This guy was a number 1 pick of the draft, and I hear generational. Okay. Number 1 pick of the draft, and I hear generational. You shouldn't need somebody else with you to be able to have an offensive presence. An offensive game. A skilled offensive game. That's it. I don't ask for a lot. I'm not Mr. Oh, I need you to shoot threes. I need you to look at the goddamn rim when you have the ability to shoot a 12-footer, elbow jumper. I need you to look at the effing rim. This is basketball, guys. Basketball is meant to be shot. All right. I love that you're unselfish. But the way you become the biggest unselfish guy in the world is attempting that shot. Because the second you attempt that shot, it becomes easier for you to get to the basket. That is basketball 101. The thing we learn when we play basketball when we're little puppies. When we're little puppies, we learn the jab step, right? And we learn the pump fake. Why? Because we're going to shoot that shot, and then how do we build off shooting that shot? Right? We do jab step, pump it, what? Right? This is 101 basketball. So nobody wants to tell him that. And if you can't get it, like, we blamed it all on Brett, right? It was all Brett's fault. It was all Brett's. Is it? I mean, this guy just seems reluctant to look at a rim. You can't be reluctant to look at the rim. You just can't be. Listen, I'm a Ben Simmons guy. I'm not trading him. So let me clear this up again, okay? But I'm going to be critical of when I'm watching basketball. Shoot the effing ball 3 times from the elbow a game, and people will have to close out on you, and then guess what? Guess what? You get easy layups. You open up your offense. Guess how many more assists you would have too? Guess how many more? He might average 15 assists a game if he attempted it. So it's not just his offensive scoring that can benefit from it, right? There's going to be a sample what teams are going to try to do with him in the playoffs. We've seen it. So how do you get out of it? It's the elbow jumper and around that arc, that elbow area, right? Everything in that area you need to attempt. You can't shoot me a fadeaway that he shoots from the corners, but you won't look at the rim from the elbow when nobody's on you. It's a free throw, babe. It's free. It's free right there. Nobody's on you. You don't even have to go, James. You don't even got to jump. You don't got to jump right now. Nobody comes out to you. You don't got to jump. Give me a little. I'm doing it lefty for him. Yeah, just give me a little. You don't got to do nothing. Oh God, see, great. Go ahead, John. Fired up. Ben Simmons got me. I freaking protect
Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, and I'm not a Ben Simmons hater. Let me just get that out the way, all right? People love to label you a Ben Simmons hater when you expect him to be as good as he should be. When I want Ben Simmons to be the number 1 overall pick, the generational talent, the LeBron James 2.0 that we keep being told that he is, and he doesn't do it, I'm going to be upset. Some of my best friends in the world, they know who they are. They're probably watching this live stream right now. Some of my best friends in the world are like, you think they're Ben Simmons hired lawyers. You think that they literally, and you know this from Twitter, Tom, too. Ben Simmons' fanboys are unmatched. They'll find something that he did something right. No matter what, he could go 0 for 20, and they'll tell you he played good D. He did this. He had a nice pass to Danny Green in the corner. He had 7 assists, even though that's not really that impressive. Like, the thing about Ben Simmons, and I've heard you say this also, whether you like James Harden or not, all right? I'm going to bring James Harden up real quick. Whether you like James Harden or not, Tom, that would have been a good trade. That trade would have made us a better team, all right? James Harden is a good player. Whether that would be good in the future for us, that's to be determined because he's 33, or 32 or 31, however old he is. But, I mean, like, Ben Simmons, this is starting to feel like a breaking point for him as far as the Sixers go. Because if we see this team not make the Eastern Conference Finals and Ben performs like he is now, I'm telling you right now, Daryl Morey will ship him out of town. He's just going to do it. Doc's not going anywhere. Joel's not going anywhere. Tobias and his big-ass contract ain't going anywhere. So Ben Simmons is the one man that has trade value that can improve this team real quick. And if he doesn't step up, he's going to be playing in a different city.
And he can improve this team in the postseason as well. John, that's the thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I never will sit here and be like, dude, you got to take 10 jumpers. Never.
Yep.
Never. It's not your game. It's not your game. 2 or 3. Maybe some games you don't have to do any. You can just pump fake because guys will actually respect that you would do it. It's about respect. You have to get the respect around the league for people to at least honor it, right? Now teams around the 15-foot area respect Giannis to at least shoot it.
Real quick before Jake goes, right? I don't care about Ben Simmons shooting. Like, I see him in warm-ups drilling threes. Yes, it annoys me that it doesn't take him the game, right? I honestly think that Ben Simmons is a good shooter. He just doesn't want to do it. All right, number one. But the fact, like last night, those types of games where this is a 6'10" dude, and he's going to the rim soft every single time. Literally, all you got to do, drop your shoulder, go to the rim, get fouled, instead of doing this and this and this, laying it up, hitting the rim. Like, it drives me insane to see someone like this struggle this much. He's supposed to be an elite finisher, by the way. All we heard, he's an elite finisher. He can't finish this season. 2 for 11. All of them were layups.
You're 100% spot on. Like, it's like me on a Fisher-Price net. You know what I mean? I'm going to walk into some buckets. Like Giannis, I know he's not as big and strong as Giannis, but Giannis goes hard to the bucket, creates contact. He shies away. He does create contact and something that doesn't get calls, but everything's him falling backwards, right? And it's just not going up strong for stuff. And it's like, dude, you can't even finish around the rim. So like your jumper is better than your layup game. It just is. Your jumper is better than your layup game. We've all watched you shoot it. There's no hitch in it. There's nothing wrong with it. Dude, if there was like something wrong with it, we'd all be yelling, yo, don't shoot it, bro. don't shoot
Exactly.
it. Like if you look
Like
up,
Giannis and Ben Simmons are very different shooters. Giannis's shot form is a clunky shot form. It goes like this, and it's a hitch and everything. I mean, Ben Simmons pulling up at the end of that overtime Cavs game from like Steph Curry range, splash, nothing but net.
yeah, and he can shoot it. Have confidence in yourself, Ben. That's all we're yelling for. We don't want you to be shooting the ball 25 times a game like Kyrie Irving, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want your 12 shots to be meaningful shots and impact the game. And if 3 or 4 of them are elbow jumpers, you're impacting the game more. Nobody's asking you to up your attempts. I don't want a selfish guard. I like that he's built unselfish because I think that's what's going to get us over the top. But a combo of him being unselfish is understanding that this is unselfish too. It's not being selfish. It's actually helping your whole team out. So I still love the starting 5. They're still going to win a ton of games. I'm still not scared of the Nets. But at the end of the day, I think he's going to need this in the postseason. I truly do. It worries me unless Joe's going for 35 a night. If Joe's going for 35 a night, we gooch, baby. We gooch. Okay? And Pete's right. He always plays better when Joel's back. So I think it's going to open things up for him, even though people tell me it closes things down for him. No, it opens things up. So I'm excited to see them two back together. But I need, you can't drop 40 in Utah against Defensive Player of the Year and then talk to me about altitude in Denver. Because last time I checked, I'm just here to help people that don't understand elevation. All right? I mean, you guys good? You guys good? You ever been to Utah? That's elevation too, honey. Freaking close. Johnny. Hey, look at you, baby. Appreciate the super
Appreciate it, John.
Ben, stop being soft. Take the ball up strong and dunk. Yeah. I mean, Matisse dunked the other night. That was a great dunk, by the way.
That was a great
dunk. Can you just go up strong and get fouled? Come on. Like Pete said, your free throws are better. So go up and get fouled more often. So I don't know. I know sometimes he doesn't get calls, but part of that's on him. I love Ben, and I would not make the Harden trade, and I'll stand by it. Because in 2 years, Ben could be the best player in the league. So I'm going to continue to hold out hope. This is what I lost games for. So I'm going to yell.
That 2 years ago, Tom, though.
If we're complaining about Ben Simmons not showing up in the playoffs, I don't want to hear shit about James Harden.
No, I know. We know about playoff James. That's worse than playoff George. Playoff Pig.
We'll leave that go. Jake, go.
All right. My thing with Ben Simmons, it's just it's so frustrating, right? Because we know what he can be as far as an offensive player. We see him shoot every now and again. And again, like Tom said, I'm not asking him to shoot 5 to 10 shots a night, 2 or 3. I'm good. I'm fine. But the thing that annoys me more than anything, I'm fine with him passing and getting the assists and whatever. That's fine. But when you're driving the lane and then you just stop and send it to someone else, what are you doing? You're 6'11", 240. It just pull over a guy. I get that it's not the type of basketball that the league plays anymore, but don't be afraid of contact. That's what I don't get. He's very selective with it. He'll look for contact sometimes and drive the lane, and then other times he just kind of nah, here. And then if a three's made, okay, fine, we're not complaining. But a lot of the time, to where he'll dish it and it doesn't happen, we get frustrated because if Ben can put his game together, he's easily, I think, 25 a night. If he's consistently aggressive and takes those occasional shots every now and again, I think he's 20 plus a night. It's not even a question. And I think it also goes to where it goes to his upbringing. And I've said this on multiple shows. I've said this on multiple occasions to where you get told by so many people, you get told by LeBron James and a bunch of people throughout your life, you're so great. You're going to be good. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. From Ben's mental standpoint, he knows he's already great. He's like, well, I'm already great. I got paid. What more do I need to show? You know what I mean? Now, again, I'm not saying that's Ben's mindset, but that's just kind of the feeling. That's the what's the word I'm looking for?
Perception.
The perception. Thank you. That I'm really seeing. It's just, I don't know. Some games he looks like he's into it. Other games he's not. I don't know. I can't figure him out anymore. He's been here for 5 years. And I still can't figure the guy out.
Yeah, and I don't want to crush. I do want to crush him, but I will give credit. Last night's winner, Ben stepped up and played great. So I'm not running from the fact that we won a basketball game, but I'm talking about a max money player here. I'm I don't care about how much you get paid. People tell me, oh, Tobias isn't a max. Well, somebody's going to max him, okay? And he's efficient and he's consistent, okay? So all I'm asking for is the same thing from Ben Simmons. There should never be a night where you're under 15 a night. There should never be a night where you don't score 15 or above. It's as simple as that. And I don't want to hear anything else. Anything else. That's expected. This is what it is expected. This is your expectation. 15 a night at minimum, and then play great defense. There's no way playing great defense affects you offensively. I don't want to hear that. What affects you offensively is these weird post moves, these weird hook shots like your Magic or Kareem, okay? And the lack of aggression, taking the ball up strong to the basket. Strong. All right? And the elephant in the room that we said a million times, an elbow effing jumper. Please, you got too good of a shot. You have too good of a shot. So we talked about, we talked about Joe. We talked about Ben. I think we can all agree that this team's first or second in the East. Okay? And I know it's sort of early, but do you believe this team's going to go right back to where they left off before Joel went down in terms of their chemistry together, and especially the starting five, which was almost unbeatable together? Do you think this has helped almost getting other guys a little bit extra run and confidence, right? We've seen other guys get confidence through this stretch. So what do you guys think about that? And do you think that chemistry is going to be good? And do you still have the expectation of an Eastern Conference Finals? And can we beat the Nets, obviously, as constructed? Because they've upgraded, right? Are we good enough to beat them? So this time, Jake, we'll go to you, and we'll circle around. We'll go to Johnny this time, and then we'll go, and then whoever else you guys wants to go after that. So everybody gets a shot to go Uno here.
All right.
Do I expect the chemistry to be
Jake's selective hearing? You guys see that?
what I missed?
I said no. We'll go to John this time since he didn't.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I know you're in bed. You're fine.
Do you want me to go or? All right.
Yeah, I want John to go.
There's a whole lot of questions there. I'm going to start with this. Number one, Joel, will we get back to the chemistry we had? I'm going to say yes, because it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, they're one of the worst teams in the NBA. They're one of the worst franchises in the NBA history. If we lose to the Timberwolves, I don't care about Joel being back. All right, we got problems. We can beat the Timberwolves without Joel, without Ben Simmons, probably without Tobias too. So we better win this game. Joel, I'm going to say he's going to have 27-ish. I don't think they're going to play him too much. I think they're going to get a big lead and sit him down. So yes, I think that we're going to return to our form, and I don't think it'll take that long for them to get back in rhythm with each other. I like the fact that Shake has kind of returned to his old ways of being an efficient scorer. Back like this season earlier, he was not very efficient. And then as far as the Nets and the Sixers, this team has to make Eastern Conference Finals. There's no excuses. All right, it's Eastern Conference Finals or bust. If they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, we have major issues, and there's going to be a major trade in the offseason. Can we beat the Nets? We can. I think we can. There's a way to beat them. Do I think that the Sixers could be favored in the series? I wouldn't put money on them, though. I wouldn't put money on the Sixers just because of the fact that even though Ben and Joel are older now, the Nets, what wins playoff games and playoff series, are older superstar players that have been there before. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Harden, even though Harden hasn't been to the finals since 2012, they've all been to the finals. Our guys have never been to the finals, other than Danny Green, who's not a superstar. But I think in a series, the Sixers can beat them, and Joel's dominance inside is going to be tough for the Nets to contain. So that would be the way I would see us beating them, and through our defense. And if we have Danny Green step up and Seth Curry be hot from the outside. But I would say the Nets would win in 7.
That's fair. I mean, I can't. I mean, I think Sixers win in 7, but I see Nets winning in 7. I don't think it's an easy series for either team. As both of them are constructed. The Nets are better, sure. The Nets got a lot of talent, but we got to see them all play together. KD hasn't played in a year, feels like. So, what KD are we getting? Now, the other two are ridiculous, right? But we also have great perimeter defense. So that's where Ben Simmons comes in handy. This is where Matisse Thybulle leading the NBA and perimeter block shots comes in handy, right? So this is why I wasn't going to trade anybody, because I saw enough saying, you know what? I know what wins in the postseason. That's defense. And I want to get to an Eastern Conference Final, and I want to get there with younger guys, right? So they learn it. So they get there. They experience it. And if you win it, great. If you win it, great. but you're playing with house money if you get there. All right, and all the pressure becomes on the Brooklyn Nets. And I love being the dog, right? Never forget the Eagles. I love being the dog and playing with house money because you play looser, in my opinion. Now, it doesn't always equal you winning the series, but you should be playing looser. So, Pete, Jake, go ahead, guys. So it was a little two-part question.
Do I think the chemistry is going to be back? I tend to think so. I mean, most of the team has been playing together. Like, having Joel back is just going to help so much things. Danny Green has been playing a lot better, and having Joel in that lineup to help space things out is only going to make things easier for him. It's going to make things easier for Ben and Tobias and everyone. Interesting portion of that is Shake is finally. It's like Johnny was saying. Shake is finally getting going. You know, he's getting back to what he was. You're also going to start to see him off the ball because George Hill is going to be the leader of that second lineup. He's going to be your point guard off the bench, and you're going to get Shake to have more catch and shoot opportunities. I think he was 3 out of 3 on catch and shoot threes in his last game, which is excellent. What do you have, like 27 points?
Yeah.
So that's great. It's just great to see. And the bench is, if it's like Tom says every week, you get 30 from that bench, you're having a good night. I feel like if the bench can be consistently good and help us and take some pressure off the stars, you can only have good things. In terms of the Nets, which Nets are we playing? KD hasn't played since February. Harden has whatever the hell he has right now. And Kyrie has taken 3 sabbaticals for whatever reason, whether it's health, COVID worries, or anything else. If there's a person's headspace I do not trust in the NBA, it's Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
And James Harden is the least clutch player in the playoffs. So, you know, we'll see what happens with those 3. Like Paul George shakes his head at James Harden in the playoffs. That's how bad it is at times.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe our size is going to give them problems. I truly believe that because I mean we are. I mean they can add Aldridge and Blake Griffin. That's fine. You know we are bigger than them. Our size should come into advantage and our athleticism in some of them spots too. But I agree with you, Pete. I mean, what Nets team are you getting? Who are they? You know,
and also they all haven't really played with each other. Like at least with our team. We have chemistry. Like we've played a decent amount of games together. Like even Kyrie and KD haven't really played that much with each other because they play a few games and then KD would miss a game and therefore Kyrie for some reason can't play any games that KD's not in. And Harden hasn't really played with KD or Kyrie a lot. And now Harden has his whole health thing. And I'm sure in the next few games there's going to be something else coming out with Kyrie that he needs to sit out. Which is really he needs to sit out because he doesn't want to play without the star player. So
you know what, Pete, what the Nets have literally been doing. They've been doing something that's similar to what the Clippers did last year with Paul George and Kawhi. They did not play at all. Like they played 15 to 18 games together in the entire regular season. They got to the playoffs. What happened? They didn't know how to play together. Doc's system was not a problem. They love to blame Doc. They love to say Doc made me into Ray Allen and Doc did this, Doc did that. But in reality, it was your own damn fault. And you guys didn't want to play the regular season.
Nope.
What the Nets have right now is Kyrie plays one game and he tries to carry the team with a bunch of bench scrubs. Then we go to James Harden. Then we go to earlier in the season when it was Kevin Durant, Kyrie. Then Kyrie was out. It was only Kevin Durant playing by himself. They're never on the court at the same time. That is something Nets fans should be worried about.
It's a big red flag, man.
Even that Miami Heat team when it was like the first like super team per se.
Mm-hmm.
It took them half a season to really start clicking and playing together. So it's not like it can't happen, but it takes time to be able to play together for sure. Jake, what do you say?
Yeah, but with as far as the chemistry goes, I think there might be like a little hiccup there just because Joel's missed games, I think, since the 12th of March, right? Since March 12th. Yeah. So, I mean, you'll have like a couple hiccups, couple miscues here and there, but it's nothing that's going to be a detriment to the team at all. Get him I'll say probably get Joel a half. Give him a half and he'll be good and ready to go. The bench, like Lord said earlier, the bench is hot and cold, but it keeps us up when the stars are struggling. I like what I saw from Shake Milton. I'd love for Dwight Howard to stay in a game once in a while. That'd be great. I'd appreciate that. But Matisse, keep doing what you're doing on defense. It's great. If Matisse can develop a bit of an offensive game, whoo. I think he can be a real good player, and that's just me. Maxey, again, whether it's a rookie wall or he's just not really ready yet, it's perfectly fine. I like what I saw from Maxey. He's willing to take shots. He showed me a lot in his rookie year, believe it or not, in his limited amount of minutes. But I like what I saw from Maxey a lot this year. And Brooklyn, pretty much to what everyone said, they don't really have chemistry. Everyone's hurt. Kevin Durant's hurt. Kyrie's being Kyrie. There's no other way to put it. Kyrie's doing his thing. But I think what other people aren't talking about too is just like outside of their starting five, like who's their bench? You know what I mean? Who are the Nets defending on their bench? Like just from their bench, who they have on defense?
Bruce Brown is their star defender. Okay, LaMarcus Aldridge, who can't defend. He cannot defend a lick, so he's not going to defend Joel Embiid. Blake Griffin can't move laterally anymore. Okay, he can dunk now. Apparently, he didn't do it at the Pistons. Neither of them are defenders. So they have Jeff Green and Bruce Brown who can defend, and Kevin Durant, when he tries, can defend. Other than that, they're all stiffs at defense.
Yeah, Kevin Durant's busy defending himself in DM, so that's a whole other thing.
It's not easy going one-on-one against Michael Rappaport in Twitter DMs. I'm just saying.
If anyone could talk shit, it's Michael Rappaport. I'll give him respect on that.
I love that. If it were me, I wouldn't have backed down like Rappaport. I'm just saying.
No.
What's KD going to do? Like show up to your house? Like, come on.
Yeah, and again, everyone's clamoring. They're like, "Oh, look at the offense! Look at their numbers! It's insane. They have the number one offense." I'm like, "Okay," and then I think they have one of the worst defenses in the league.
Yeah,
so
it's great. They'll light your lamp. I mean, they can come in and light your lamp in a game. You know, they got 3 guys go for 40, right? And you're like, "Oh, what the hell happened to me?" So you know what I'm saying? Like their offense is always going to be scary, but can you stop from the other end? Can you defend us, right? And if you get big guys that get in foul trouble, you're in trouble. Right? If we get guards that get in foul trouble, we still got other ones that play good defense coming right in behind them. So to me, we have advantage defensively guard-wise, and they have a disadvantage. Like if DeAndre Jordan gets in foul trouble, it's night-night. It is night-night for them. They have nobody that's stopping Joel Embiid, right? And it's game over because then our size becomes a big factor.
Well, even DeAndre Jordan's not a good defender.
Oh,
right? He's
not good
stinks.
at much anything at this point.
Yeah, not anymore. I used to love the.
I think they have them at number 2 as of right now within the last 15 games because I had a saved thing on my phone. Number 2 offense, like 18th defense or something like that.
Yeah, I mean the Sixers will have. I think the Sixers, and Tom was kind of talking about this before. The Sixers match up well with the Nets when you can have Doc's plan B. Ben Simmons, you can guard Kevin Durant, Matisse. Now, I don't know how much Matisse can really play because we've been seeing Matisse clank shots off the side of the backboard, clank shots off the rim. But if Matisse can play and be consistent for you shooting, you can stick him on Kyrie and feel pretty good about that. And we've all seen.
I don't think Kyrie's going to respect him, so he can maybe pickpocket a few off him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
that's a big issue. That like so many guys just aren't respecting Matisse like they should, and they're playing loosey goosey basketball against him, and he just steals their lunch money and goes to town.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you remember the game we played against the Nets earlier, when it was just Harden, Kyrie was supposed to play, but he saw Kevin Durant was out. He's like, all right, we're not beating the Sixers, so I might as well sit this one out. So James Harden played, and Ben Simmons did not allow James Harden to get anything. I think he had like 2 points for like 2 for 10 shooting when he guarded him or something like that. So Doc, even though we just ripped on Ben Simmons for like 30 minutes, Doc has versatility when it comes to the defense against the Brooklyn Nets, which is why I leaned to say the Sixers, even though I think the Sixers would beat the Miami Heat, if they can get more healthy, may give the Sixers more problems on the offensive end, at least because of our defensive versatility.
Yeah, I agree. Listen. It's going to be a dogfight for every team in the postseason. There's really 4 really good teams in the East that are going to fight it out. So we'll segue here to getting a little Phillies, and obviously Open with a win on opening day yesterday, which is always big, and especially against the Braves. And how would you feel if this team did take 2 out of 3? Would it change your expectations at all? Would it keep it the same? Or it's a long dogfight season, but I think we all need to see. I think it was good to see our bullpen get outs, right? It was good to see that outs last year. So, what are your expectations from this team this year? Because a lot of guys haven't had a chance to talk about it on air here. So, what are your expectations, and what do you expect from this series?
Yeah, the Phillies cap on, Pete. Go ahead.
All right, then. I have big expectations for the season. I really like this team. I feel like we're a much better team than we were last year. We're healthier. We have a bullpen that won't make me bleed out my eyeballs, Second worst bullpen in the history of professional baseball. That was fun. You get Alec Boehm for a full season, which is awesome. You get McCutchen, another year removed from that ACL tear. He looks much different. He looks way faster. I don't think when he scores, when he scored on the game, I don't think he does that last year. I don't think he tries to get home. Because I just don't think the leg was there. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
You got burners in the bullpen. You got guys who can sling it. Jose Alvarado is going to give me a heart attack every time he pitches, but that son of a bitch is going to throw it 100 miles an hour every pitch. Like last year, bases loaded, 1 out. I would already be like weeping as I type things. This guy has no fear. Like a lot of guys in this bullpen, they have it. Like I'm just really excited. Like it's just going to be a fun team. Like, like you know what I mean? Like obviously, I'm not crazy. And I'm saying, whoa, we won the first game of the season, World Series. Like, let's not get crazy. I think this is a team that could win 88 to 90 games, get into the playoffs, and maybe they steal a series. I would feel very comfortable heading into next season where we have $50+ million coming off the books, and you have all those good shortstops available, you know what I mean, to upgrade this team. And you can see where other guys like Moniak is at and Hazley, and after watching them this year, I feel very comfortable in this baseball team right now. There's a lot to be excited about because you have a really good starting 3. You will have to see what happens with your Matt Moores and your Chase Andersons. I feel really comfortable with the bullpen. And it's a top 5 offense when healthy. So, you're in for a fun time this season. It's going to be a fun 162 games.
Yeah, I think the big thing is my expectations aren't necessarily crazy high. I think they could sneak into the wild card spot. I think they could. But I think what I'm going to really take away from this season, and Pete, you said it too, it's like you have a good not young, but you have a good core that can really hit the baseball out of the park. And I'm really excited. What I'm really excited about, honestly, is just this new bullpen. That's what I'm really excited about more than anything. And I'm just hoping, because I still have flashbacks of last year's bullpen and how horrible that was. But I don't think they'll be nearly as bad as they were last year. But I hope I hope I'm wrong. We'll see.
Yo, jerk offs out there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's go. Let's go. Pounding that like. I don't like that. All right, you're gonna get Ben Simmons heat. What are you guys in altitude? Trouble hitting the like? Trouble hitting.
Yeah, I got nosebleed.
Elevation gate on the like button. Come on, pound the like button. John, what do you say? Jake just froze.
What do I say? Well,
There we go.
I hate to rain on your parade, Pete. All right, and I see the Phillies possibly. There's a vision where I see the Phillies winning 88 games. See the Phillies being in that push for the playoffs, wild card spot. But until I see the Phillies do it, I'm gonna think they're gonna go 82 and 80. Until I see them do it, I've been burned too many times with the Phillies. Every year I've had this optimism, right? That the Phillies were going to be great. And to Tom's point about if the Phillies grab 2 or 3 from the Braves, would that change your opinion? I have to say no, because didn't the Phillies 2 years ago, they swept the Braves in the opening series. So what did that tell us? It didn't tell us much.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Because remember, we lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins last year to open up, and that's when COVID stuff bit us in the ass.
Yep. And then the thing I will say about the Phillies, though, positively, is we've been waiting years and years for the Phillies to finally draft good talent again. We had the whole debacle with McClintock, and finally, I feel like we have a GM that we can actually trust in Dave Dombrowski, someone that's been in there, done that, someone who's gone to the World Series. He knows how to build a roster. And Alec Boehm, this dude's a stud. Like, this dude's a flat-out stud. He can hit the ball. He's going to be an MVP candidate in the future. Bryce Harper said it. I have to tend to agree with him. And we should be really excited about Alec Boehm potentially being one of our best players this season.
I'm going to cut you off just like a slide bit. Sam Fold is technically our GM with Dom, but you know what I mean. I just want to throw that out.
It's like saying Elton Brand.
I know. I actually like Sam. I like him. I think him learning under Dombrowski is literally the best thing you could possibly have for a young general manager. Because obviously, like, you can argue whether or not he's the general manager or Dave Dombrowski is, but the fact that you get to learn from such a winner like Dave Dombrowski, there's nothing but good that can happen to Sam Fold if that's the guy who's teaching you the trades.
Yep,
exactly. And also, I'm just glad that we're not having to deal with Mr. Howie Roseman without a championship, because that's what Matt Klentak is to me. But I mean, how many busts have we drafted? And I know the MLB draft isn't like the most easiest thing to do. It's really not like the NFL draft where you can probably pick someone in the top 10 and you have a really good chance of picking a great player. Like,
that's not even just like Klentak though. That's just been us for a while where we've just like, I think since like 06, 07, we've had nothing but like it's been hit or miss, man.
It's been Cornelius Randolph's, Mickey Moniak's.
I'm still high on Mickey. I saw a lot of things in the spring I really liked. I still like. I think the last few drafts make me feel better. I feel Moniak could be something. I like Hazley. I love Alec Boehm.
Yep.
And Bryson Stott is someone I feel very confident in. And I love Mick Abel, and I'm really interested to see what he could look like in a few years. So the last few draft picks with the Phillies have made me very happy, and I kind of love the fact that we stole the head scout from the Yankees. So
apparently Mick Abel's throwing 102 like consistently. He's like typing out 102. So I'll let Tom talk on that.
That's crazy. 102.
Yeah, I mean that's fun. You know, I mean that's good to see, because you need young arms in your in your mind, in your system, and if that's either the play at the big league level for you or to deal you for proven talent, that's fine too. But you need to have the system. You need to hit on picks. You can't continuously not hit on picks, because then picks can get you talent at the big league level, depending on how you want to build your baseball team. Some teams build it all by prospects, right? Other teams build it by a mix of prospects and going out and spending money, or going out and dealing prospects for guys, that are proven and like 27 years old. So it's depending on how you want it. But this team's ready to go. They're ready to go. On paper, they're ready to compete for this division. They are. Now, can they get enough outs? That's what we always talk about. 27 outs. Can they get them? Can they get them last 9? And 9+ like they did yesterday. 9 and some change. Like, that's important. That's the difference maker. And yesterday they were able to. And that's a damn good Braves lineup. So we're going to find out a little bit as the series goes on, because I think it's going to be telling if we're getting outs late in games. Unlike last year. That's going to be the difference maker, because I think we're going to hit. We
went in 21 games last year. The only team that had led more games than us were the Dodgers. So I feel like if you had like a number like that heading into this year, I feel you're going to win a good portion of those games as long as you have the lead. That's how much I believe in this bullpen.
If you look at the Phillies bullpen, blew 14 games last year. If we had a competent bullpen, I'll say we'll give the Phillies 7 of those 14 games. If we had an average bullpen, we wouldn't have blown. That puts us with the Dodgers for a record at a 58-game season. But that puts us with the Dodgers. So,
We didn't even need a competent bullpen last year. We were one game away from making the playoffs. How about instead of the worst bullpen in Major League Baseball, how about we're the third worst? That's how bad our bullpen was. You needed one game.
Yeah. Listen, somebody get outs. Somebody throw out of the pen. And it looks like at least we have arms that can, right? Balls that move. I mean, every ball thrown last year is right down was a cock shot to guys. Right? Everything found barrels. The first guy out of the pen last year got shelled every time out. So can guys get outs? It was good to see Alvarado fight through that. Right? It's good to see guys do that. It was good to see Neris come in and get outs early on, because if these guys can build confidence early on, they could have really good seasons. But if you're getting hit right away, then it's like, here we go again, right? Like, to me, if that happens early on this season, I know it's early and you can't win a division early, but you can win and lose one. You can definitely lose a division in April, and it's happened before, right? So you got to get out to a hot start. You want to put pressure on other teams, and you want to get the confidence to say, you know what, we can go to our bullpen and get outs, right? Okay, if we do score 8 runs, we're not going to keep losing 9-8, right? If we do have 5-2 lead, we're going to hold on to them. I mean, that's all good for morale in a 162-game season. Because it's long, it's a grind, it's grueling. So you have to get the confidence early that things have changed from last year, right? That's the only way you're going to do it. It's the only way you're going to do it. Yeah, have we had second half struggles last 2 years, essentially, if you want to count last year second half, right? Have we had second half struggles? Sure. We got to get over that hump too. But the only way we get over that hump is by being in the mix. And the only way we're in the mix is if we're getting outs early in the season. Simple, because I think we're going to hit. I think we're absolutely going to hit. So can we get the confidence of getting outs? So I think they got a real good chance taking 2 or 3 from them. Tomorrow would obviously help that. And it'd be real good to see our 1-2 come out and pitch really good to get this season started. I think that'll give us a breath of fresh, not a breath of fresh air, but get us feeling really good about our direction. And then we're playing with house money on Sunday and hoping
I'll be in attendance.
Yeah, what Zach Eflin are we getting? Who is Zach Eflin? And then you never know. I would love to sweep them. I mean, if you could sweep them and make that statement early on this season, you're in a great spot. You're in a great spot.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, boys. We got about 14 minutes, so let's get some Eagles talk. And where are you guys feeling? Where are you guys feeling about how you feeling about this draft? And what direction do you guys want to go at 12? And the last part of it is, because you can sort of answer, a little 3-part piece is, are you happy with the trade?
They could go so many different directions, Tom, at 12. Originally at 6, we kind of had an idea where they could go, possibly. I think Surtain's out of the picture. I think Surtain goes to Dallas, unfortunately. To me, that's just writing on the wall when it comes to Surtain. But
Agreed.
If he falls to us, I mean, great. That's I'll take him all day. But I feel like with 12, we have so many more options. That's the issue. And I don't know if issue is the proper word, but kind of like we just have so many options to where, like, which do you pick? And it all depends on how the board falls and whatever. But I wouldn't hate Micah Parsons. Even though we haven't drafted a linebacker the first round since like 60 something. Is it 79? Okay, excuse me, 79. Wouldn't hate that. Devontae Smith, maybe, if he's still there, I'll take him. But I just can't. I just can't trust this organization, even with all the picks that we have. I just can't trust this organization to make the right pick. You know what I mean? Like we all have an idea of who we wanted last year, Tom, and for the fam at home that watched our draft show last year, we all had an idea. We all thought it was going to be Patrick Queen. We thought it was going to be Justin Jefferson or whoever it may have been at the time. We had an idea, and then we just gets flipped on its head, and we end up with Jalen Reagor. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love to have faith. I love to just be an ignorant Eagles fan, be like, yeah, we have picks, we have options, cool, great. But Howard Roseman's our GM, so I'm not necessarily confident. But as far as the pick goes, do I hate the trade? No, just because of what we got. I hate it because of who's making the decision more than anything. That's what I really hate. But when you're talking about 3 first-round picks next year, and Tom talked about it with his interview with Rob Motti. If you guys haven't checked that out, definitely check that out after the show. There's no way they're keeping both or all 3 of their potential first-round picks. There's no way. There's no way. They're going to get saddled up to either trade up in the draft next year, draft a quarterback, or even make a trade for a quarterback. If this whole Deshaun Watson thing spills over and it ends up being nothing, then I think we're throwing a party, and that's a whole nother conversation for another time. But
you have 2 top 10, 12 picks next year, essentially. Good. Depending on who the Dolphins are, right?
Right.
Like, if the Dolphins are good, then obviously not. But you have a chance to with your own and the Dolphins. I mean, man, so it could be in a good spot.
All right. This Howie trade for me, honestly, when I first heard the news, I was very disappointed because I've been riling it up, expecting Chase, Pitts, Smith, whatever we're going to get. We're going to get a nice player because I believe that I'm going to call it how I see it. Jamar Chase is going to be a Pro Bowler day one. He's going to step into the league. He's going to be a stud. He's going to be a top. I honestly say if I don't see Jamar Chase being a top 10 receiver, I'll be shocked. If I don't see that, I'll be shocked. But I honestly think that there's a chance that the Eagles could still end up in this draft with Devontae Smith or with Jalen Waddle. Like, if you think about it, number 1 is going to be Trevor Lawrence. Number 2 is going to be Zach Wilson, I think, in my opinion. Number 3 is going to be a quarterback because the Niners just traded up for a quarterback. We know that's pretty obvious. 4, they're not taking a wide receiver because they have Julio and Calvin. They're going to take either Pitts or, I think, a quarterback. 5 is like a wild card because maybe they want to pair Chase up with Joe Burrow, so they could take Chase, but I think they would go O-line before they would do that. 6, possibly receiver. 7, maybe a receiver, but the Lions really need a lot of pieces, so I could see them going defense. 8, Denver. 8 has Carolina. They definitely will not take a receiver because they need a quarterback. 9, Denver has way too many receivers after drafting Jerry Jeudy and having Cortland Sutton. And then we go 10. Yeah, we go 10, 11, where the Cowboys have that entire insane receiving core where they definitely won't take one. 11, and the Giants just signed John Ross, Kenny Galladay, and they have Slayton, and they have Shepard. So there's a run of teams that won't need receivers, and I think maybe that's what Howie was thinking if he's going with a receiver. Now, all of that could be wrong if 5, 6, 7 all go for those top 3 guys, and we're just left without them. But that would also mean that we would be left with maybe a top-tier cornerback like Caleb Farley or J.C. Horn. So there's a lot of options for the Eagles to go in this draft. And as long as Howie doesn't screw it up and doesn't take some random dude from the Big 12 that we never heard of, I'm going to tend to trust, and we're going to wait and see and give this a chance to see how it plays out before I fully evaluate this trade, especially since I don't believe in Tua. I feel like Tua is not the greatest quarterback, so we could potentially be seeing a Dolphins pick in the top 10.
Very well could. Very well could. Todd, we'll get back to fan fry, like the fan call-ins next week because we're shortened up show wise. But next week we'll get everybody back in for the last half hour of the show. We got Money Pop Podcast debuting tonight at 10:30, so we got to condense, which we're gonna have to condense weekly, but we'll make it work moving forward for sure, guys. So we'll be back. Go ahead, Pete.
All right. Do I hate the trade? No, I like it. It's smart. It makes sense. You got great value for it. I was talking to my buddy about this earlier tonight, and I said, if we had anyone else as the GM of the Philadelphia Eagles, would you love this trade? And he's like 100%, and that's what I feel. Like, if I had more trust in Howie Roseman, I would probably love the trade. But like, obviously, there were some studs at 6, like Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase. Sorry, Jake. R.I.P. Embrace the chase. R.I.P.
Yep.
But like, obviously, there's some options there at 12. You could possibly even trade up to get Kyle Pitts if he falls. Anything's possible.
Yep.
But if I'm going into this draft, I said obviously some people will be like, "Oh yeah, you gotta go get defense. Go get defense." If I'm believing in Jalen Hurts, if I'm giving him the year, if I'm doing everything I can to try and help him, I'm doing something I didn't really do for Carson Wentz. I'm going out and I'm trying to get this guy a home run hitter. At 12, there's possibly a few home run hitters in Jalen Waddle. I would like Waddle maybe trade back a little bit and see what happens there. But I'm a big Devonta Smith guy. He's a stud. He's a home run hitter. He's a killer. He's a pimp. You have him paired with Jalen Hurts, because I know Hurts is a big fan of his. He's also a fan of Waddle too. So you get one or two of those guys on this team paired with Hurts, I would feel really comfortable heading into the season, because you would at least have a number one option and you would have a stud number one. Obviously we have no idea what's going to happen next year. It's quite possible we're going to use those picks to either trade for a quarterback or trade up in the draft to get a quarterback if things do not work out with Jalen Hurts. But at the end of the day, I would at least like to say that I went out of my way to get him some offensive help so he would have every chance to succeed this season. So do I like the trade? I do. Do I love it? No. But I also would probably love it if it was anyone else other than Howie Roseman picking.
Yeah, the trade doesn't really bother me. I think it's a good trade because you need talent and you need to acquire picks to get as much talent as you can. You're not one player away. You're a bunch of players away. And I agree with you to a point. Like, okay, yeah, you want to go get your quarterback weapons, right? And get him weapons, blah, blah, blah. But if that weapon isn't there, I'm not going to reach on a weapon. Like, I'm going to go get that best player. Right? I know that's cliche, but that's what I'm looking for. So if that's offense or defense, it doesn't matter to me because I need impact players on both sides of the football, right? So I need to start somewhere. And that somewhere can't be reaching for need, So if it's Parsons, if it's Smith, if it's Surtain, whatever, one of them guys is going to be there. One's going to be there. So you go to sleep, you go to bed, you call it a night. All right, we got who we wanted in this draft. You know what I mean? We got somebody we think can be an impact player, right? I don't want to feel like I'm reaching on, and this isn't disrespecting like Farley or Horn, but I don't know if I'm reaching on them at 12 for need, right? I don't want to, and I know they're both right around that range, but I feel like I could be reaching a little bit for them guys if those other guys are on the board too, right? Like if some of them other guys are on the board, if Smith's on the board, I'm definitely not taking Farley or Horn. Make sense? If Parsons on the board, I'd probably take Parsons over both of them. So it just depends on how you feel about it, right? So these are all great names. I just don't want reaches anymore. I need if a star caliber player's on the board, you take them. You take them, please. You know what I mean? Please.
Yeah, just like Pete said, if Devontae Smith is on the board, you got to take him. He's gonna be another star receiver. I feel very confident in Devontae Smith's ability in the NFL. He's just another hard-working guy that you can count on. He wants to get better. He wants to be great. And if I see him on the board and the Eagles pass up on him, even if it's for one of those good corners, I'm going to be crucifying Howie Roseman. You just cannot pass up on Devontae Smith if he's on the board.
Mm-hmm. No, you can't. I think Devontae Smith is a gold jacket guy. I just believe in that. I truly do. Can Pitts fall to 12? Eddie says he could. He very well could, because the track record of tight ends in the top 10 is not good. Not good. And if teams go by any trends ever, it could shy teams away from it too. Or he could go top 5, or he could go top 8. I don't know. This draft's going to be weird because it's going to dictate how many quarterbacks go in the top 10. We don't know. We can assume, but we don't know. And I agree with John. I think around 5.
Yeah.
I think 5 could go. Well, guess what? That means there's going to be a lot of talent at 12. And I think the Eagles looked at that and said, you know what? We don't need to be at 6 because one of these guys that we really like is going to be there at 12. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, I agree with it. I agree with the trade. Once I sat back and thought about it, we're not one player away. We're freaking 10 players away.
Yep.
And how are we going to get 10 impactful players? Well, we need 6.
is that I would have taken Smith at 6. So you're telling me I can get Smith at 12 and a first round pick next year? Okay, Mr. Roseman, you get a little bit of goodwill if you pulled that one off.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a nice golf clap.
But it's all about him.
I'll do more than a golf clap. I mean, let's
not get crazy. Let's not get crazy.
I've been a critic of Howie Roseman, but if he could pull off get Devontae Smith and a first round pick, I think he killed the draft.
I need a little bit more. Like I need.
I mean, obviously, we don't want to
just give me Devonta Smith, and then the next 10 picks are dog shit. Like,
yeah, I got you there. But like, obviously, we need to see some starting. We need a starter from the second round pick. That's definitely for sure. We probably need a starter from the third round pick. We're
probably going to select like a quarterback or something, because something that's obviously going to help the team.
Kyle Trask isn't the next Eagles backup. Kyle Trask.
That's what we should do. We should just reunite the Florida quarterbacks where it's Kyle Pitts and Kyle Trask. Let's go. Let's get it done.
We should need 4 to 5 all-pro caliber, not just, but we need like 4 or 5 all-pro caliber players in the next 2 years drafts.
Mm-hmm.
Not all going to come in one. We need 2 to 3 this year and maybe 3 next year. You know what I mean? Like you need them. Or at least real good players. But we don't, we need stars. Enough of like just the good players. Like we need stars in the building ASAP. And right now we don't have.
Get like a majority of our players we draft actually be on the team the next year. That would be nice.
Yeah. Or
honestly.
Like, oh yeah, you had a pulse. You know what I mean? You were here. You played. Thanks.
Shout out Clayton Thorson.
Yeah.
Clayton Thorson.
All right, boys. So 2 minutes to go. Really 1 minute. We circled the block. We hit all our topics. And listen, great show tonight. Ton of fun. Went an hour and 11 and covered every goddamn topic needed to be covered. Mm-hmm. So good work, boys. Go work. John, it was fun having you on. Looking forward to seeing you every week. And some weeks you guys will see me, some weeks you won't. So deal with it. Deal with it. Anything else before we sign off? 1 minute.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. We love you, fam. I know John talking about subscriptions. Working on it. We'll have them soon. And we appreciate everybody's comments and everybody chiming in. I need you to stay tuned for a brand new show on A2D Radio, hosted by Nate Moss, Money Pop Podcast, joining the A2D team, and going to help you gambling wise. So go check it out. It's going to be like a little intro show. They're going to tell you what they're all about. So go find out what they're all about. For Tom, Jake, John, Pete, the family out there tomorrow. I mean, the family out there tomorrow because I'm reading it. I'm reading Eddie's comment. Yeah, tons of shows tomorrow. Kicking It Stateside, Philly the podcast, Combat Sports Shop, Weekly Roundup, In This Very Ring. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. We love you all. Tune in. Money Pop Podcast coming up. 2 minutes. We out.